Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back, or welcome for the first time if you're new here. My name is Holly. I'm a physical therapist, but mostly I'm an online personal trainer. And today we're going to talk about my favorite topic ever, which is muscle hypertrophy, aka building muscle, aka toning your body. We could say all three things and mean the same thing. So if you want to gain muscle, if you want to look fitter in your body and emphasize those feminine curves, then you might want to pay attention to this video on how you can do that. So I'm super excited. Let's dig in. Okay, so let's start by talking about the different factors that are going to be super important to have muscle hypertrophy. And the number one is mechanical tension. And then 2 and 3 kind of together are metabolic stress and muscle damage. But mechanical tension is the priority, what I want you to be focused on, because that is the most important factor here. What that really means is tensioning the muscle fibers. So let's talk about a bicep curl. You have the concentric contraction, the shortening of that muscle, and then you have the lengthening of that muscle or the lowering portion of it. And it's lifting a heavy enough load so that you activate your muscle fibers during the contractions, both ways. The heavier the load, the more you're gonna tension that muscle. Also, the more reps you do, the more you're gonna tension that muscle. So it's being able to recruit the most muscle fibers. So you need to be doing a lot of weight and enough reps to really kind of tire out those muscle fibers, so that you need to recruit all of them. At the end of your set, you know you're doing a good job if you start to go slower. You're trying to go the same pace, but since the weight is heavy, it's not moving as quickly. You're really tired. You're having to kind of push yourself mentally to eke out some more reps. When your body wants to stop, you get that extra oomph to keep pushing in order to get more mechanical tension of the muscle fibers. Your form might want to start to go, but it's holding that form and recruiting all those muscles to the most of your ability, to the best of your ability. And that's why it really matters that you're pushing yourself efficiently enough and you're not plateauing. So you do this by progressively overloading the muscles, because as your body starts to adapt and get stronger, you're gonna need to push yourself by adding progressive overload, and also by having that mind-muscle connection. It's important to mentally engage my biceps as I'm doing the bicep curl, so I get the most out of that contraction. So that's what I want you to be thinking of when you're thinking, I want muscle hypertrophy, progressive overload and mind-muscle connection. Now, we also talked about muscle damage, which you can do by really loading the eccentric part of the movement. So the lowering part, we're actually a little bit stronger in. So focusing on those negatives with heavy weight can lead to muscle damage. And the other thing is going to be new exercise. Novelty in movements, since your body's not used to it, it can elicit some muscle damage, which is important, but not as important as mechanical tension. And then metabolic stress is like that high rep, going for the burn, which is shown not to be as important either for hypertrophy, but you want to be playing with the intensity, kind of mixing it up every now and then, so you make sure that you are getting all those factors of hypertrophy into your program. But I just want to keep driving home the point that mechanical tension, eliciting the most muscle fibers in your contraction to an intense degree by progressively overloading the muscle and finding that mind-muscle connection, is going to be vital in your success. Now, we kind of touched on my second point already with mechanical tension, but I just want to emphasize that progressive overload is so important for your hypertrophy. So it's being able to know how to create a strategic program so that over time you are improving, right? That only makes sense. The body is super adaptable. So if we did the same weight, same rep range, same amount of rest, same workouts week in and week out, we wouldn't make a change in our body, because we would just get used to it, and then our body wouldn't have to adapt anymore. We wouldn't have to build more muscle, because we can already do it with the muscle adaptations that we made. So you need to keep pushing it. Number one, I just wanna say if you're new, master the basics. Make sure you can do a really good squat pattern, a really good hinge pattern, that you know how to perform the movements well with just moving your body weight before you start to add weight on to the movement. So know how to do this. Maybe you recruit some help to do it to make sure you're on the right track. You kind of learn that skill of mind-muscle connection. And then what we start to do is we start to really implement progressive overload over time, and it's non-linear. It's gonna be a wave-like pattern because we have to go through periods of deloading so we can keep pushing the body without overdoing it, without just being in a constant state of breakdown. So it's adding more reps, more weight, changing up the rest periods, adding different intensities over times with different rep ranges. Sometimes you're gonna go heavier and reduce the reps in order to be able to do more reps over time. But essentially it's just being able to get better every single time. So it's going in the workout and thinking, I'm trying to beat myself today. What did I do last time? I did 8 reps of RDL with the 35s. Well, this time you could try to do 8 reps with the 40s, or you could try to do 10 reps with the 35s. It's being able to get better by adding mostly weight and reps, but there is so many ways to do this and so much that goes into creating a good program so that you can have the tools so that you're progressing in a linear fashion, and once again you're not burning yourself to the ground. I really love creating programs for people, and we can talk so much more about progressive overload, but for now I just want you to think of how can I get 1% better every workout. Be tracking your workouts and have a plan, and that is going to go so far in your ability to gain muscle hypertrophy over time. So I just love that one. The next thing that I want to talk about in your journey to muscle hypertrophy is what exercises to choose, right? And you might hear a lot of people say, oh yeah, start with the compound movements, then go to, your assistance lifts, and they have a rationale for this. I've talked about this before, but today I want to talk about what specific exercises you want to do for the muscle changes that you want to make. Okay, so it's specificity that also matters. Like if you want to grow your glutes, like I talk about a lot, one of my goals, and I help a lot of people do this, well, you want to be prioritizing the hip thrust, a lot of booty focused exercises, cable hip abduction, reverse lunges, stuff like that. But if I want to emphasize growing my quads, I'm gonna choose different exercises based off this. Lots of leg presses, hack squat, leg extension machine. It would change the exercises that I choose based on what your primary goals are. And this is going to evolve over time as you start to build your body. You wanna start by thinking of how many days you're going to the gym and create a program from there. But I would say choose no more than 4 to 5, maybe 6 exercises per workout that you're going to get better at, that you're going to be able to progressively overload of a period of at least 8 weeks. Because if you're switching your workouts every single session, then how do you know that you're getting better at them? I used to fall into this trap a lot. I would find new exercises that I liked based off of, some Instagram influencer, or just like looking around the gym and seeing people do different exercises. I would think, oh, I have to add that one to my program. And I would just add it in to make sure that I'm getting them all done. And by the end of the day, I'd be doing 8 to 10 exercises per session. And when you're doing that many exercises, it's almost impossible to go in with enough intensity to make those changes that we want to make, because you're more focused on just getting in the volume, that you're not going intense enough to get enough mechanical tension over time. That brings me back to our first point. So be specific with the exercises that you choose. Do them repetitively and consistently for at least 8 weeks or longer as you implement progressive overload. It's that simple. Keep it simple. Do 4 to 5 exercises per session, no more than that, and just keep getting better, keep beating yourself. You've got this. Then the last thing I would say is, are you fueling and recovering your body properly? Because those lifestyle factors are just as important as your workouts. Are you sleeping good? How stressed are you? Have you been pushing it too long and you need to deload? Have you been eating enough for the gains and the changes in your body that you want to make, right? A lot of women come to me eating in too much of a calorie restriction and not enough protein. Protein is what we need for muscle protein synthesis, which is how you're going to build muscle. So you really need to be eating enough if you want to grow your muscles. If you want that body change, you're gonna have to focus on how much you're eating and look within. Maybe you track for a little bit, maybe you get some help with this, maybe you start to write it down. You know, there's different ways that you can make sure that you're on track in terms of having food be used as fuel for your workouts. That's what I think about, honestly. When I'm eating dinner, I think about what workout I'm doing the next day and make sure that I'm eating enough to be able to fuel for that. A heavy leg day, I'm gonna need more carbs. So I'm gonna have a lot of rice with my dinner. It's as simple as that. Food is fuel for your body, and if you pay attention to that, you're gonna have so much more energy for gains. Your mood is gonna be better, you'll have more energy throughout the day, you're gonna just be better for everyone else when you're eating the right amount for your lifestyle. So my friend, this has been fun. Just to recap, what you wanna do is you wanna focus on number one, those factors for hypertrophy, which is mechanical tension, muscle damage, and metabolic stress. Number two, you want to master the basics and you want to get good at progressive overload. Find a strategic plan for you. Number three is to choose specific exercises aligned towards your goals. Progress them over a period of at least 8 weeks repetitively. And the last thing is make sure you're fueling your body properly and recovering properly. Work on those lifestyle factors, work on eating enough, sleeping enough, deloading when necessary, and just listening to your body. Remember that your workouts should add to your life and not take away from your life. So this isn't meant to stress you. Your workouts should always make you feel better at the end of the day. It uplifts our life, and that's what I love so much about it. It's just that mood boost that I love having every day. I love being in the gym and how it makes me a better person, and I hope that you do too. My goal is to help you to be able to feel confident in the gym and be able to get results, not just go in there and be, wondering what to do, but actually have a plan and know how to get to your goals. So let's do this together. Let me know if you have any questions, if you want me to make any other videos based off that. I definitely will. So comment below, subscribe to become part of the family, and I'll see you next time.